Hi everyone, I was back at Oakville last Saturday for another B grade scratch race, and the order of the day was to be aggressive. My plan from lap number 1 was to push the pace on the climb, tire out some riders, thin out the bunch, and then hope to attack later. That's what I did on lap 1, but at the start of lap 2, as you can see here, I was caught in the middle of the bunch, so I couldn't do anything up the climb. So towards the end of that lap, I made sure to get around the bunch, make my way to the front of the group so that I could lead it up the climb, push the pace, and try to thin out the field. Now the field was so big that they actually asked some riders to move up to A grade, so with 24 riders in the field, it was even more important to try to string out the bunch. Now here at the start of lap 4, on the way up the climb, Jarrell David from Park Life has gone away solo. I attack up the climb, try to bridge up to him, try to get a move going, but when we look behind, the bunch is right there. So they bring us back towards the top of the hill. I attack again, this time bridging across to a rider, number 38 from Lidcombe Auburn Cycling Club. We go over the top of the hill together and onto this flat section, but we're not fully committed to the move, and in any case, the bunch brings us back. This is a crosswind section with wind coming from our left-hand side, and Jarrell David counterattacks just as we're caught, and he goes away solo again. Now at the bottom of lap 4, I found myself caught at the back of the group just as gaps started to appear, so I had to close some of these gaps, wasting a bit of energy as attacks went off the front. So riders were starting to get dropped, but the bunch itself was still quite large, and there were quite a few riders who hadn't put their nose in the wind at any stage. So I wanted to try to get rid of them. I rolled my way to the front of the group. There were a few riders off the front ahead, as you can just see up this climb. So on this steep section of the hill, I attacked again, tried to bridge across to them and get a move going. Now up ahead, there was Jarrell David, who'd attacked earlier, John Pham from Bankstown Cycling Club, and also that same rider, number 38 from Lidcombe Auburn. Now I caught them towards the top of this hill, rolled through and tried to get us working together. I look behind, the bunch is strung out, there's small gaps appearing, but they were all intact. And as we reach the top of Oakville Road, you can see people looking over their left shoulder just to gauge where the bunch is at. They were all strung out single file, but there was still quite a large bunch attached. Now as there was a lull in the pace here, I tried to have another go over this flat section in the crosswind section. I did get a gap of about 10 seconds, but the bunch, I think, were controlling things and happy to let me dangle there. So I was off the front to the bottom of the hill as we go up the climb for the final time. Again, number 38 from LACC is present there in closing down the move, as was Terry Steer from Northwest Sydney Cycling Club, who was fairly active on the day as well. Now, this was the last time up the climb, so I figured I might as well attack again. I was hurting, but hoping that other riders were hurting just as much as I was, so attacked again. My last opportunity to use the climb, but unfortunately caught again by number 38 and Terry Steer, so I was brought back into the bunch, and it was just a matter for me of hanging on until the finish. Now there was still quite a large bunch there, 17 riders would contest the finish, so with all that attacking and aggressiveness, I really only managed to drop about 7 riders. Now over this flat section in the crosswind, I really was digging deep just to hold on as surging was happening at the front of the bunch. You can see here, I was pulling 400 watts just to stay on the wheel and not let this gap grow. I did manage to survive, and a Penrith rider attacked on the left hand side there, just outside 1 kilometer to go, in a late daring solo move, one that I do appreciate. As he takes the corner first, my positioning was quite bad. You can see I'm almost about 12th wheel here, and as we go through the corner, the accordion effect means that gaps are opening up in front of me, and I'm having to put out a lot of watts just to catch back up and stay in contention. Now thankfully here, the bunch lets up the pace a little bit, so I managed to latch back on to the back of the group. As we prepare for the final sprint, John Pham makes a move along the right hand side to get to the front of the bunch. Sherelle David straight onto his wheel. Now I had a split second decision and hesitated. Maybe I just didn't want to move to the right hand side of the road without being sure there weren't any oncoming cars. But either way, it turned out to be a costly decision, because as we go through the final corner, you can see I'm way back. There's no way I'm going to feature in the sprint now, but anyway, I push as hard as I can up the climb, hoping to get towards the front of the race. Now for some reason, a massive gap opens in the bunch. As you can see, 5 or 6 riders are up ahead, and this massive split has occurred. I did my best to close it. We catch the Penrith rider who attacked solo earlier, but as it turns out, that gap was way too big for me to close in the last meters of the race. Tom Brown ended up taking the race ahead of Andrew McLean and David Kruger, so some guys who were smart enough to save their legs for the sprint. As for me, I ended up in 7th place, so my aggression didn't pay off, but I did have fun, gave it a go, and I guess I'll do it again next time. See you then.